Okay, let's take a look at this problem. We are asked to graph the linear function f(x) equals negative 5x. Now, in my video, I said usually we use x-intercept and a y-intercept. But for this function, its x-intercept and y-intercept are the same point. Why? Because when x equals 0, the function value is negative 5 times 0. If this happens, if the x-intercept and y-intercept are the same point, we are going to use another point. So here we can let x be a random number, say 1. Then we can find the y value, which is a negative 5 times 1, which is negative 5. So we can use these 2 points to graph this function. So first we're gonna click on this. Okay, make sure it turns into blue. And then I click on the point 0, 0 and 1, negative 5, which is here. So this will give me the graph of this function. Some students told me when they are using this tool, it's very inconvenient for them to click on the right point. Now, there is another way you can do this. So after I click on this tool, we can just go ahead and to click on 2 random points. And now you will see under the graph layers, if you click on this, it will pop out this window. And now you can just type the coordinates of the point you just have found. Okay. And this tool will modify your graph. Okay. So this is our answer. Okay. Let me use this again. Okay, let's here. I want to graph this linear function. Fx equals 1 over 2x plus 4. So if x equals 0, the y value gonna be 0 plus 4, which is 4. Okay, so I have found 1 point. Now, for the second point, we can use 2, or let's see, we can use a 2. If x equals 2, the y value is 1 over 2 times 2 plus 4. 1 over 2 times 2, that is 1. 1 plus 4, that is 5. So when x equals 2, y equals 5. Now, we can also use 1. When x equals 1, y equals 1 over 2 times 1 plus 4. Since 1 over 2 is 0.5, this equals 4.5. If the coordinate contains decimals, then it's impossible for us to find that point on the coordinate system. But if we use the previous way, now we can do that. So 2 and 5, that's my first point, and the second point is 1 and 4.5. Okay. Using this method, we can just type the point, okay, no matter if it is an integer or not. Okay. See, I get it right. Okay. Let's move on to the problem number 9. This is also a problem most of you got wrong on your homework. We're looking for the number x if the line through the 2 points, -4, 2, and x, 5 has a slope of 2/9. So first of all, let's recall the formula of a slope. So we said if we have a straight line that goes through 2 points, then we can find the slope of this straight line by using the coordinates of these 2 points. So the formula is it is equal to the difference of the y coordinates of the 2 points over the difference of the x coordinates of the 2 points. Now remember, when you use this formula, the order does matter. So you have to make sure the order is consistent on the numerator and denominator, which means if you use the y coordinate minus if you use the y coordinate of the second point to minus the y coordinate of the first point, on the denominator, you also have to use the x coordinate of the second point to minus the x coordinate of the first point. And if you do the opposite way, then you also have to do that in the opposite way in the denominator. Okay, so in this case, we are given that one of the point is -4 and 2. Okay, so let me call this point -4 and 2. Call this as the first point, and the second point, the x coordinate we don't know. That's what we want to find, and we know the y coordinate, and we know the slope. We know the slope is a 2/9. Okay. Now, if we use this formula, so how did we get this number 2/9? We use y2 minus y1, which in this case is 5 minus 2, and over x2 minus x1. Now x2 we don't know, it's x, and x1 we know it's a -4, so minus -4. So that equals 3 over x plus 4. Now, to find x, we need to solve this equation. Solve this equation for x, and in the previous sections, we saw how to solve this type of equation. This is a rational equation. And we can solve this equation by multiplying 2 by x plus 4. And we multiply 3 by 9. So 2x equals 19. X equals 19 over 2. Okay. All right, let's take a look at number 10. So number 10 says we want to change the equation to slope-intercept form. So the slope-intercept form is written in this way. So the equation is like this: y equals m, which is the slope, plus b, which is the y-intercept. So we know the y-intercept is the point where the straight line intersect with the y-axis. On this point, the x-coordinate is 0, and the y-coordinate is this number b. So to convert the given equation into this form, the first step is to separate x and y, because in the slope-intercept form, y and x and the constant, they are separated. So what we can do is we want to add 9y on both sides. So we write the equation into this way: 2x equals 12 plus 9y, but we're not finished yet. Then we subtract 12, so we can take this number 12 to the other side. So we have 9y equals 2x minus 12. Okay, the last thing is we gonna eliminate the coefficient of y. And to do this, we can divide by 9. So the equation becomes the slope-intercept form. So y equals 2 over 9 x minus 12 over 9. In this equation, the coefficient of x is the slope. So the slope equals 2 over 9. And the numbers after the x term is our y-intercept, which is a negative 12 over 9. Now you can say, even though you don't simplify your answer, it is still right, because 12 over 9, if we simplify this number, that will be 4 over 3. Next, we look at number 11. On number 11, we are asked. So this time we are given the slope of the straight line, and we're given that the point 2, 4 is on the straight line, and we wanna find the equation and then express the answer in standard form. We said when we are given the slope and a point contained, we should use the point slope form to find the equation. So the point slope form is this. Here m is the slope and x1, y1 is the point which is contained on the straight line. In our case, y1 equals 4 and m is 1/3 and x1 equals 2. Okay, so this will be the equation of the straight line. Okay. But because we are asked to write the answer, to express the answer in standard form, so if we type our answer into this way, it will be wrong. Even though it's the same straight line, but since we use we didn't use the required format to write the answer, so the website will grade it wrong. Okay. Now, how to write this into standard form? Now, to answer this question, first let's recall what is a standard form. When the equation is in the standard form, first, x term and y term, they are on the same side, and the constant is separated with them. The second thing is the coefficient of x and y, and this constant, they are all integers. And the third thing is the coefficient of x is a non-negative number, is a non-negative integer. Okay, so once we understand this, since we don't wanna fraction, we don't wanna have a fraction in the equation. So the first thing is we wanna get rid of this fraction. To get rid of this fraction, we can multiply this fraction by its reciprocal, which is 3. So we multiply 3 on both sides first. So I get 3 times y minus 4 equals 1/3 times 3, so that's 1 equals x minus 2. And now the equation becomes, and then I distribute 3 into y minus 4. And the next thing is I want to determine if I want to bring the x to the left, or I bring the y to the right. Because we said the coefficient of x must be non-negative. So if I bring the x to the left side, how I'm gonna do that? I will need to subtract a x. Then the coefficient of x, it becomes a negative numbers, right? Now I don't want that happen, because that will not be a standard form. Therefore, I want to keep x on the right side, and I want to bring the y term to the right. So to bring the y term to the right side, I subtract 3y. And then to bring this number -2 to the other side, we can add 2. So the equation is x minus 3y equals -10. Now we see that the coefficient of x is a +1, the coefficient of y is a -3, the constant is -10. See, they are all integers, right? So x minus 3y equals -10. You see, it's the same straight line. Okay, so this time we get it right. We get it right. All right. Another problem is number 21. Number 21 says if a graph is a line that is perpendicular to the line gx equals 5x minus 1 and contains the point 3, 1, we want to determine the linear function of this line. So here we said if two straight lines if two straight lines are perpendicular, then the product of their slope gonna be equal to -1. So in this problem, we're given a straight line, which the equation is y equals 5x minus 1. And we are looking for a straight line. We're looking for a straight line which is perpendicular to this line. And because the slope of gx is phi. So the straight line which is perpendicular to gx, its slope must be -1/phi. Because -1/phi times +phi equals -1. So let me graph a straight line let me graph any straight line which the slope is a -1/5. You see, these two are perpendicular. Another one. Now, these two are also perpendicular, right? Okay. So there's infinitely number of straight lines. As long as their slope is a -1/5, they will be perpendicular to gx. Okay. So to determine our answer, we are going to use another information, which is this straight line. It contains the point 3, 1. So we want to find so the straight line we're looking for is this one. It's the one which is perpendicular to the red one, and also it passes the point. It passes this point 3, 1. So how are we gonna do this? Since we already figured out the slope, its slope is a -1/5, and because we wanna it contains the point 3, 1. So if we use the point slope form, then we can find the equation. So y minus 1 equals -1/5 times x minus 3. You see, the graph of this straight line, it is perpendicular to gx, and it passes the point 3, 1 is contained on it. However, we cannot use this answer because we already given the y, so we want to rewrite this into y equals something. The easiest way is we can just add 1 on both sides. So the answer is fx equals -1/5 times x minus 1 plus 1. Or we can simplify the answer y equals -1/5 times x and plus 3/5 plus 1. And y equals -1/5 x plus 3/5 plus 5/5 8/5. The last problem most of you got wrong is number 24. The main issue is most of you, when you are looking for the slope, you are using these 2 points, 47 and 180, and 71 and 340. Now these are not right. These are not right, because we said in the point the x coordinate is the independent variable. Is independent variable, and the y coordinate is the dependent variable. Dependent variable means the value of y depends on the value of x. So as x changes, y changes. Okay. So if we look at this problem, Heidi rented a car one day and paid $47 for 180 miles. So she drove 180 miles and then paid $47. And the other day she drove 340 miles and paid $71. So because here her rental fee depends on the number of miles she drove. So the number of miles should be the x value, and the rental fee should be the y value. Therefore, the 2 points we should write as so the mileage should be the x coordinate, and the rental fee 47 should be the y coordinate, and the second point is 340 and 71. Okay, now here we have these 2 points. To find the linear function, we first need to find the slope. So to find the slope, let this be x1, y1, this be x2, y2. So the slope is 71 minus 47 over 340 minus 180. 71 minus 47, that is 24, and the 340 minus 180, that is 160. So that is 24 over 160. Okay, so 0.15. Okay, and then next we use to find the equation, we can use the point slope form. We use this slope and then use one of these 2 points, say this point, and then we can find the equation. It's y minus 47 equals 0.15 times x minus 180. So y minus 47 equals 0.15x minus 180, 27, and plus 47 on both sides. Okay. So the linear function is f(x) equals 0.15x plus 20.